Hey, this is Tracy with Color Me This. I'm doing episode 41 today. It is right after the 1st. It's actually January 2nd now. And I wanted to film this yesterday, but was too busy working on some projects, some outdoor projects, because it was a balmy 70 degrees, which was perfect. And today it is 54. So I wanted to get my outside projects done. So this is just going to be a quick work in process. What did I finish before midnight, January 1st, 2024? So I'll start with what I didn't quite finish. I was very close. So this is my disc bound system. I have been using my swatches at my recliner so I can easily flip through to the various ones. So I had 4 books, spines cut, 4 Mythic World books. This one is finished, and I have had this put away in I have this extra wide, I guess it's called a book holder, and it is made of fabric. And so all of my coloring books, I think I've even shown it on video, that all of my coloring books fit in there. I have a very small collection. So I've had these large discs. I slid it in, and there was plenty of room with the discs. So each of my 1.5-inch discs will hold 2 Mythic books. And how I've been filling them up is from back to front. So the left side here is not put into the discs. The right side is, and I just have this all sitting here, and in my spare moments of time, I put maybe 3 to 5 pages in like that. And so I will get this finished today. I made myself finish the frog. So we have, I grabbed the wrong one. I even put it away. So let me see if I can bring you up closer. So I do have 3 different resources bound. My 4 Mythic books will be bound with the disc bound. My collection of materials that I create for my detailed walkthroughs, as well as for my coloring group, all sit in here. And then again, I showed the swatch. So far the swatch I've used the most, and it is lovely with the 4. I actually did put all 4 discs in. You'll notice on my larger disc binding, I don't do all of the discs. I just think it's going to be too much work to pull them out and put them back in. And my other thought is that if the concern with my husband using this is he uses regular 20-pound paper. These are all heavy 65-pound on up pieces of paper. So if I find wear at the certain 5 points that I have put the discs in, I can just swap them around. I'm hoping that won't be a problem, but I do have that as a safeguard. So I finished the Prismacolor. So that is hiding in here in its location, and I will pull it out so we can do some comparisons, and we'll put the Speer Farben back. So that's as easy as it is. Let's get close up here so we can see the frogs. The Prismacolor ended up, the final version, being a bit different than all of my other final versions, and I will share with you the difference and what my plan is. So for me, when I color a full picture, I like to have the tooth filled in pretty much like this style is what I enjoy. And then I like realism. So though I do like to use white as my brightest bright wherever possible, white being not the colored pencil, but white being the paper, I still like the rest of the image to look very finished. So a good reference is my background to me doesn't look finished, the frog looks finished, and the flowers look finished. So now that I use the Prismacolors, which are very vibrant and they're very creamy, rich pencil pigment. I went ahead and took it to that next level. So when you're drawing, or for me, when I'm drawing, if I'm not careful and I don't want to do the no-tooth version of drawing, which would be this frog, I have to be very careful, because once I hit that level of coverage that it turns into this type of a look, the whole picture has to do it. So I was working with the Prismacolors. I am new to Prismacolors and don't have a lot of experience with such a vibrant pigment. And then when I had a couple of the areas of the frog filled in so the tooth wasn't showing, it made me go back and try to balance the whole frog out, which made him look like this. And then the background I left unfinished looking. And I think what I'm going to do is take my all of the realistic version of my frogs, and I will probably go one pencil set at a time and work on finishing them out. And it might be a combination of a blending pencil, like the background here I would like to soften and not have the tooth look like paper tooth. So that's going to be a separate task. But the frog, this is an example of a frog that I feel looks completely done. The eye needs a little more detail to finish it out, because I see this frog has a little purple, but I did get it finished before midnight and before the start of 2024. So I am very glad I got that finished. This is the Color. This is another one where I definitely could have taken it one step further and filled in the tooth, because it's a very rich, deep pigment. So I already discussed when I did the comparison of the Prismacolor color combos that I did. I actually did them with the pigment filling up all of the tooth. And I compared it to the Color 120s, and there's tooth. So I'm probably going to have to figure out how I want to go back and clean things up for consistency's sake. I've even had the problem with the swatches. That's the problem of doing all of them the same way and just trying to see if I can be very consistent. So it's a learning exercise for me. This is the Maries. They are an oil pencil. And I still think that I could go ahead and really enrich the color by adding much more pigment to this final frog on the Maries. Polychromos, again, same thing, oil pencils, very easy to use, very fun. The color tones are a little different. I had talked about that when I shared the previous walkthrough of the frogs. Praying, I think I've probably got as much out of the prangs here as I can, and I think that the praying frog came out really, really nice for the color load that I can pull out of them. Definitely lighter than the Prisma. Spearer Farben is a very nice rich color. I see a lot of tooth on the frog and the background, so that definitely is going to need more work, but looks very comparable. Starjoy Gold, the second hardest pencil set that I own after the prangs. Came out very nice. I'm actually much more, and that's it. And I am overall much more comfortable coloring with oil pencils than I am with wax pencils. So this whole getting used to the wax pencils and how they feel and how the coverage works on them has been very fun. And let's put this in its spot. Another project I finished that actually just because I couldn't wait is the Arteza 72 set. I have it on a poll for which set I should do a deep dive into next, between the Arteza Color 180s, the Crayola 100 plus the Colors of the World, so 124, or the Castle Arts pastel tints that I just got. So so far, Crayola started in the lead. The lead has switched 3 times. Then Arteza was ahead, and I noticed today Color is ahead, and I made a little post about that. I'm going to let it run for another day, but in anticipation of maybe a lead change between those 3 still again, I did go ahead and do the swatches for the Artezas. And this is a bit of a sneak peek. I'm not going to share my thoughts on them yet, because I will share that in the detailed walkthrough, because by the time I get through with all of the bits and pieces, I might alter my opinion. So this is the initial laydown of the colors, and all I have to do is punch the holes. So I guess technically I have to say I didn't do it, but it was a little preemptive strike. So then for my husband's Christmas present, he loves a nice pencil pen that is easy to write in cursive. We like to write in cursive. And I had been using the Tan Mitts for all of my Christmas cards. These are glitter pens. And I had him try one and he loved it. So I went ahead, found that they were on sale, got him his own set. And surprise of all surprises, if you go back, I will put a link to the video where I walked through my Tan Mitt glitters. They gave me the wrong swatch card, and I emailed back and forth with them 4 times. And they, instead, because they couldn't figure out how to get me the correct swatch sheet, they gave me 20% off. And I had already got a really good deal. So Hub's deal wasn't as good as that, but I am pleased because I was able to get out the full set and color in the correct swatch, which is great, and it will sit in my container. I did get a second set of all of the coloring little projects. They are on like a watercolor cardstock, super thick. The other thing I did to my set, because I didn't have this mini swatch to fill in, I had broken down my big swatch into on a ring so that it could be in here. Easy reference for the different, because I use these, pretty much I use them for all of the writing that I do in the cards to people I send them to. And everybody loves seeing the sparkly cursive handwriting. So that got finished and was an extra surprise. And then the final project that I finished before the first is my robin. It is finished. I will have a photo of it at the end so you can see it and peruse the details. It's my first bird I have ever drawn. I've drawn lots of horses, cats, mainly cats and horses. Those are my 2 favorite animals. So my next project, which I signed up for, it was a live draw yesterday, again with Bonnie Snowden, and I knew that I was probably not going to do it during the live draw because I like to stop and rewind. But she has now released the deer to those people who signed up, so I need to do the deer next. So I decided I would just call this one finished. I did the fence post just as a hint of a fence post, worked on the texture of the feathers on the tummy. It is a winter photo, so the bird is really fluffed. So I had to work on the fluffy look that it had. So I think it's going to be done. I will get this matted and hang it on the wall with my other art that I have completed. So that is it. That is all I've got for my starting out with 2024. What did I have left over and what did I finish? So the next episode is probably going to be, I'll give another day on the poll, and then I will start working on the deep dive into that set. And then hopefully I'll have a deer. That is going to be on pastel matte like this one, only it is going to be on a dark pastel matte. And I still have to figure out what color I want that to be. So the pastel matte, I will say I had to do lots and lots and lots of layers. I probably could still be layering the bird. Who knows how long I could be layering. The pastel matte seems to take an infinite number of light layers. So the deer will also be on the pastel mat. Please do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I hope you all had a wonderful New Year, and thanks for watching.